right, friends, let's get started in a tabletop for me. So I want you to stack your shoulders over wrists, stack your hips over knees, have your block handy. The tops of your feet could be pressing into the earth, but you could also curl your toes under. That's going to spread out the fascia and tissues on the bottoms of your feet, which we neglect. Some of us also don't have the ankle flexibility to press the tops of the feet into the earth. Pause right here, press into the palms, lift up, find this beautiful link through the spine. Take a full deep breath in. Exhale, round out through the back, tuck chin to chest, tuck your tail. Pause here, breathe space into that upper back. Really find that Halloween cat look. Breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in, breathing out. Drop the belly, open up the chest. Tailbone reaches to the sky. Feel that stretch to the front side of the belly, getting into the lower back. Full deep breath in, full deep breath out. Breathe here. One more breath just like that. Good. Now we're going to flow through. Round out the back, tuck chin to chest, drop the belly, open up. Let's add breaths of movement. Take a deep inhale in here. Exhale, round out. Inhale, drop the belly. Exhale, round. Inhale, drop. Exhale, round. Take some hip circles to the right. So you might have some snaps, crackles, and pops in the knees. Listen to the body. Notice what's going on in the hips, the wrists. This one looks silly, but it feels good. And I want to warm up our hips before we get into them a little deeper. Good. Switch directions. Take it the other way. Come back to center. Walk those hands forward. Sink the chest down toward the earth. This is puppy pose. You have an option to stay a little lifted. If you have the space, sink even lower. Maybe you drop forehead to mat. Just breathe space into the upper back, into the shoulders. Full deep breath in. Full deep breath out. Breathing in. Breathing out. Slowly come back to that tabletop. We're going to warm up the hips before we get into them here. So we're going to find a fire hydrant on the right. Right knee lifts. Drop it down. Squeeze and lift. And drop. Couple more times. Just wake up those glutes, wake up those hips. Last one, hold it up there. Little pulse at the top. Just get that heat going, get that blood to go to that hip. Straighten that leg. Press the right foot into the earth. You're going to rise up on this left knee. If that bothers your knee, double up the mat. So let's rise up, reach tall. Inhale. Exhale, take your right hand down that right leg. Left arm reaches. You feel this length and space be created through the side body. This is getting into the front side of this hip. Breathe here. Full deep breath in. Full deep breath out. Breathing in. Breathing out. Good. Go ahead and release that. Release the hands to the earth. That foot stays right where it is. You're kind of in that tabletop position again, and then we hinge forward and backward. If you did cardio Pilates with me yesterday, we used this as part of our warm-up. As you hinge backward, you have an option to keep the toes pointing forward, or toes can begin to point to the sky. Notice what's happening in the hips, inner thigh, lower back. You're also loosening up your wrists a little bit here. Beautiful. We're going to stay on this left knee for a moment. Rise up. Pull this right knee in closer toward you. I like to call this the Captain Morgan. So hands to the hips. Start just right here. You're trying to initially stack right knee over right ankle, but then we're going to take that knee beyond the toes. I know everybody says don't do that, but when you climb stairs, guess what happens? So let's just open up the hips here. A little bit of Captain Morgan. Allow yourself to find kind of that rhythm that feels good to you. Beautiful. And then we're gonna sink into it and stay for a moment. Good, slowly release. You're gonna come back to a tabletop position. We find our hydrants on the other side. Left knee lifts, drop it down. Left knee lifts. A couple more times, squeeze. My hips already feel so much better. All right, squeeze and lift, little pulses at the top, get that blood flowing. The left leg extends long, you rise up onto that right knee. Reach tall, inhale. Left hand down, the left leg, right arm reaches. Open up through that right side, feel that length, feel that space. Breathing in, breathing out. Full deep breath in, full deep breath out. Come back to center, plant those palms, find that hinge forward and backward. You'll notice I'm always cueing those inhales and exhales. You don't necessarily have to breathe right with me, but the idea is that you are breathing. Sometimes when we're stretching, it's uncomfortable. It doesn't feel great. So we tend to hold our breath. That breath is going to help you relax the nervous system and help you release that tension within the muscle fibers. Breathe in, breathe out. Good, let's rise back up onto that right knee, and we're gonna bring that left foot in close towards us. Left knee over left ankle, a little bit of Captain Morgan. It's a little early for Captain Morgan, but I'm not one to judge. You do you. Find a rhythm that works for you. And then we're gonna pause, leaning into that. Feel that opening through your hips. We're lubricating the joints. Slowly release that. We're gonna come back to our tabletop position. And we are gonna curl our toes under and find a downward facing dog. Pedal it out, bend through one knee and then the other. Notice what's happening in the hamstrings, the hips, maybe even the back, the shoulders. Pause with a deep, deep bend in that left knee. Press your right heel toward the mat. Send your breath down that right leg, noticing where it's tight and tense. Inhaling and exhaling. Breathing in. Breathing out. Full deep breath in. Full deep breath out. Switch, deep, deep bend in that right knee. Left heel presses toward the earth. Notice if it's a little tighter or a little looser. Inhale. Exhale. Breathe in. Breathe out. One more breath here. And then pedal it out again. Bending. Straightening. We're going to find a ragdoll, so you have an option to walk your feet up towards your hands or your hands back to your feet. I'm going to choose hands back to my feet. Widen your stance, take your feet to the outer edges of your mat. Gentle bend in the knees. We're going to genie those arms. Grab opposite elbows with opposite hands. From here, you're going to nod yes. Let the tension wash off your shoulders. You're going to nod no. And then begin to sway, hinging from side to side. Hips continue to point forward. You're just hinging at the waist here. Remembering to breathe into those hamstrings. Release the hands to the earth. Keep your feet right where they are. Deep, deep bend in that left knee. Left hand stays planted, right arm reaches. Just opening up that spine a little bit. And then as you do this, you can play around with bending and straightening that leg, just noticing what's going on in the hips and the hamstrings. My body's like, nah, we don't love that today, girlfriend. Some days it does feel good. Or right hand plants, or right knee bends, twist open, left arm reaches. Maybe you play around with bending and straightening. Go ahead and release that. Bring the feet back to hip distance, or they can touch. Nice deep fold. Bend the knees. Belly rests on thighs. Slowly roll up to stand, one vertebrae at a time. All right, this is where you're going to want your block or prop a roll of paper towels, a kid, a dog, water bottle. You're gonna take your right foot forward. All 10 toes are tracking forward. 2 separate running boards, 2 separate planes. Place that block just in front of that right foot. You're gonna think about hip hinging, so find those hip bones. Place the fingers just below the hip bones and think about a little blueberry there that you don't wanna squish. Hinge forward. So you're keeping a flat back, neutral spine. And that's where the prop comes in handy. Maybe you're using a chair. I don't want you rounding out. We're not working to fold here. We're working to hip hinge. So we're gonna stay right here. Think about pulling that right hip back. Breathe into the back side of that leg. Full deep inhale in. Full deep exhale out. Breathing in. Breathing out. Full deep breath in. Full deep breath out. One more time here. Good. You're now going to plant your palms on the mat. So you might need to bend both knees. Hands go about a foot in front of that right foot. Kick that left leg back. So you're finding some strength here, waking up the hips a little bit, but we're finding length through the back side of the legs. Gentle bend in that right knee as much as you need. Full deep breath in. Full deep breath out. Plant that left foot, nice deep fold, bend the knees, belly rest on thighs. Slowly roll up to stand. Now we switch sides. Let's roll those shoulders back while we're here just because. All right, left foot steps forward. So you could be using your water bottle, paper towels. Right foot is back. Both legs are nice and long. We find those hips, we hinge, we keep that flat back. We pause and breathe into it. Full deep intentional inhale. Full deep intentional exhale. This left hip likes to pop out to the side. So pull that left hip back. Hips are square. We want to find length through the back side, posterior chain. Full deep breath in. Full deep breath out. Breathing in. Breathing out. One more breath here before we transition the weight to that left foot. Subtle bend in that left knee. Kick that right leg back. It's just straight out from the side. You're not trying to reach it up to the sky. Hips stay square. We're creating length through the back side of that body. Breathing in. Breathing out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Right foot meets left. Nice deep fold. We're going to find a halfway lift. Head and tail pull away from each other. Fingers could be on thighs. So it's that same movement of feeling like we have that long spine, that hip hinge. Fingers could be on shins if you have that kind of space or flexibility, or utilizing your prop. We're going to stay right here for a couple of breaths, pressing the weight into the heels. Breathe space in from the neck all the way down to the hips. And then breathe space from the hips all the way down to the hamstrings. You're making yourself taller, longer, leaner. Take a full deep breath in. Full deep breath out. Breathing in. Breathing out. One more breath here. Go ahead and release. We are going to step back to a downward facing dog again. If you need to pause in the tabletop, do that. So pause in this down dog, pedal out the feet. Notice what's happening in those hips. How do you feel? Mine feel a little better. Hamstrings feel better. We're going to pause in stillness, gentle bend in the knees. Press those hips up to the sky. Think about sinking the chest toward the thighs. Breathing in. Breathing out. Good. We're going to extend that right leg long, lift it high. We're going to rock forward onto the wrists, bringing that right knee toward that right wrist. We're going to find a half pigeon. Left leg goes long behind us. If this doesn't feel good on your knees, hold tight. I'm going to show you a modification. But my friends who want to stay here for a moment, you often hear that this shin needs to be parallel with the front of the mat. That's not true for most of our bodies because then we sink into the right hip. So that foot can be anywhere between that left wrist, left hip, so that you can keep your hips square. You want left and right hip in line with each other. You can stay lifted. You could place a block underneath that space or a prop if you have a lot of space between right hip and mat. And you have that option to fold it out. My friends who have bad knees, you can take a reclined figure four. It's the same action, just a little more gentle. So you would cross that right ankle over left knee, lay on your back and hug it in. So we are going to stay either in that reclined figure four or half pigeon for a few breaths. Deep, deep hip stretch. So there's tension in that right hip. It feels tight, it feels uncomfortable. I want you to pause and breathe into it. Send your breath to that right hip. Inhaling, exhaling, inhaling, exhaling. Continuing to breathe nice and deeply just like that, recognizing that there is a lesson here that we can take off of our mat. Every day we end up in uncomfortable situations. It might be a traffic jam. It might be an uncomfortable conversation with your boss, a coworker, spouse, child. It might just be something that irritates you, something even with your animals. And it's just not what you wanted, right? You feel uncomfortable. And generally, what do we want to do when we feel uncomfortable? We want to run. So right now your hip is uncomfortable and you want to get out of this position. We want to breathe into it and find a little ease in that effort. As long as you are safe, once you find that breath, you can stay a little longer and you can find a little comfort. You can refocus your energy a little bit. So this lesson can be taken off the mat, remembering to breathe. So that's inhale. Let's exhale. Full deep breath in. Full deep breath out. Breathing in. Breathing out. Slowly rise up wherever you are. We're not going to work out of this just yet. We are going to now take that shin parallel with the short end of the mat. Your other shin is parallel with the long end of the mat. So I'm going to find two 90-degree angles. So hip in line with knee, hip in line with knee, knee in line with foot. Then we're going to flex our feet, so pull the toes toward the knee. From here, I'm going to think about pulling that right hip back again. So my right shin, for cueing purposes, is against the short end of the mat. If you're opposite, that's cool. Just do whatever you got to do. So from here, this might already be a lot on the hips. Notice what's happening. You can stay right here or begin to hinge forward, folding over that hip using a prop to keep yourself lifted a little bit or drop it down. I'm going to pause and breathe into this again. Full deep breath in. Full deep breath out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Slowly rise, and then we're going to switch sides. So we're just going to shimmy the legs the other way. Technical term. So we get our protractor out again and we find those angles. Hip in line with knee, knee in line with ankle, pull the toes toward the knee. And then we shift. We pull this left hip back, right hip forward. We find that space in the hips. We pause here, we notice. We breathe, we stay lifted, or we begin to hinge. Breathing in, breathing out. Full deep breath in. Full deep breath out. Slowly rise. We're going to shift it back, take the knees back the opposite direction. For me, it's toward the right. I'm going to stay here lifted. And then I'm going to alternate back again. We're not going to fold this time. Stay lifted. Shift. Pause. Notice as you do this where the tension is, and then notice if you begin to find like a little bit of WD-40. Notice where the places catch a little bit, and if you're letting go of that tension. Working on some hip mobility, internal and external rotation. Don't forget to use that breath. One more time each side. You're gonna pause on the side we started with. We're gonna add on to this one more move. So I wanna wake up our hips a little bit more. So I wanna think about lifting this back heel up, working on a little rotation. We're thinking about what's happening in that hip joint. If you can't lift that, that's okay. I just want you to think about that action. So really find that mind-muscle connection, thinking about lifting that heel. Do it 2 more times, even if it's not moving at all. Last one. Switch sides, shimmy, shake. Pause. Pull that left hip back, right hip forward. Find that squaring. And then think about lifting that heel. You might notice one side is a little easier than the other. There's a lot of action going on here. If you get any cramping, just windshield wiper those legs back and forth. You can also point and flex the feet. This is such good hip love. One more time. Good. Now let's just windshield wiper a little bit and play around with where the feet are. And make your way back to that downward facing dog so that we can find half pigeon on the left, or you're gonna lay on your back for that reclined figure 4. I like to find length here. Left leg lifts, rock forward, left knee, left wrist. Right leg extends long behind me. I pause here, I find that length. Right foot is anywhere in between that right wrist, right hip. Hips are square. Stay lifted or fold it out. We're gonna pause and breathe into it. Your breath is what signals to your body that it is okay to let go of that tension, that it's okay to soften and relax. Inhaling and exhaling. Breathing in, breathing out. One more time. Notice if you can soften just a little more. Good, slowly rise. All right, we are going to do a deep hip stretch. This is called frog pose. I'm going to take my mat, that's like dirty, when I said dirty, and I'm gonna fold it in half the long way because I want some knee support. I'm also gonna have my block here to support my forearms. So frog, you wanna think about a little frog. So knees go nice and wide. We're gonna think about having little frog legs. So those toes are gonna pull toward the knees, and we're gonna stay either right here with this deep opening into our inner thighs, or we're slowly going to begin to drop down onto forearms. Maybe you can even relax into the floor. So this is a deep, deep hip stretch. Don't go too far where it's super uncomfortable, but find that place where you could stay for a few breaths. Allow yourself to surrender. Breathe into it. You might be all the way up here. That is A-okay. You just stay and listen to your body. You might have the space to sink even deeper. Stay. Use that breath. Breathing in. Breathing out. We are here for 5 more breaths. Can you soften a little more? Slowly rise, move super slow. Maybe just prop up a little bit higher, pause, pull the toes toward the heels or towards the glutes. And then begin to slowly drag those knees in. Sink back to a child's pose. Find your tabletop and do those hip circles. Slow, controlled movement. Or find whatever you need. Maybe it is just that child's pose. Deep, deep hip stretch. I don't always practice frog. Probably should practice it more often. Switch directions. Beautiful. You're going to find a seat so you can unwind your yoga mat. Send your legs out long. Sit up nice and tall. Tall posture. Maybe a gentle bend in the knees. Reach tall. Inhale. Exhale, fold. Reach for those toes. You can keep a long spine again here or begin to round it out. Slowly rise. Bend the right knee. Plant the right foot into the earth on the right side or cross it over. Good posture. Sit up nice and tall again. Deep breath in. Exhale, twist. Go toward the right, wrapping that left arm around that right knee. Taking your gaze over that right shoulder. Full deep breath in. Full deep breath out. Breathing in. Breathing out. Slowly unwind. Right ankle crosses over that left knee. You just pause here. Right knee is opening. You're not pressing it. You're allowing the muscles to do the work. Sitting up nice and tall. You can stay right here or begin to deepen this. So it's similar to a reclined figure four, but it's a seated figure four. So now I bend my left knee. Left foot presses into the earth. And I use that to create some leverage to open up the hip more. If you feel okay there, you begin to pull that foot in even closer, trying to keep that nice tall spine. Breathing into the right glute, inhale, exhale. Good, extend, release, right leg goes long, left foot plants on the earth. Maybe you cross it over or keep it there, depending on your body. Good posture, sit up tall, deep breath in, exhale, twist. So we're going to the left. Gaze goes over the left shoulder. Breathing here. Full deep breath in. Full deep breath out. Breathing in. Breathing out. Slowly unwind. The left ankle is over right knee. You'll notice maybe one side's not as loose as the other. That's okay. We pause. We sit up tall. Stay there or begin to plant that foot into the earth. Pause, breathe. And then maybe you pull it a little closer. We use that breath again to signal our body that it's okay to let go a little bit more. Inhaling and exhaling. Breathing in, breathing out. Slowly unwind. Soles of the feet touch. Knees go wide. Seated butterfly. We just pause here. Gravity opens up the hip. We sit up tall. We allow this opportunity to pause and get into the neck. Drop your chin to your chest. Take right ear to right shoulder. Chin to chest. Left ear, left shoulder. Keep going. Maybe you close your eyes as you begin to find a little more release. Not allowing yourself to slouch as you surrender into this. So sitting up nice and tall. Come back to center, pause. Notice how your neck feels, how your shoulders feel. Stay lifted or begin to go deeper into those hips. Hinging forward, pressing forearms into shins. Option to even fold deeper. Listening to your body, pausing. leg stays bent, left leg goes long. So that right foot inside that left leg. Reach tall, inhale. Exhale, hold. I don't know about you, but my body feels so much better. I needed this today. Slowly rise up. Optional additional stretch, not required. So right hand plants behind you because right knee's bent. We lift up. So left arm reaches, left hip reaches. We feel that opening through the left hip flexors. We release down. We switch sides, right leg goes long. Sole of that foot inside of that right leg. Reach tall, inhale. Exhale, fold. You can always have a subtle bend in that knee. I don't want you ever forcing anything. Your yoga practice is meant to make you feel good. Take a full deep breath in. Full deep breath out. Breathing in. Breathing out. Inhale. Exhale. Slowly rise. Left hand plants. Lift the hips. Right arm reaches. Release. Come here, Charlie. He's coming in to see what's going on, but he won't come on camera. He's not used to me using this room. All right, extend the legs out. Go ahead and lay down on your back. Hug your knees into your chest. Rock from side to side. Plant the feet on the mat. Feet are about the width of the mat, so wider than your hips. Arms come out to a T, drop both knees to the right. As you do that, really press into the inside of that left foot. You'll feel that stretch through the left. We're still here. Don't worry. All right, and then take those legs to the left. Press into the inside of that right foot. I think Facebook didn't like my music today. Breathe. It's really hard to find copyright-free stuff, and the stuff I do find isn't what I want, and sometimes it still flags it. That's neither here nor there, though. All right, shift again. Drop them to the right, and drop them to the left. Find a little movement here. Keep going. Breathing in. Breathing out. Beautiful. Soles of the feet touch, knees fall wide. Same as what we did seated, but now it's a reclined butterfly. Right hand to your belly, left hand to your heart. Pause right here. Close your eyes if you feel comfortable and safe. Using this opportunity to just notice how you feel. Tapping into the energy of the full moon, recognizing what the moon is illuminating for you right now. The moon acts as a bright, bright light to shine onto the things that need attention in our life. What has been coming up the past few days? Where do you need to send your intention? What habits do you need to change? What thoughts, processes, emotions do you need to let go of? What is the moon illuminating for you? Fall is a reminder that even the most beautiful trees use this opportunity to change their colors and then drop away what no longer serves them. It is a time for you to release that dying foliage that is no longer helping you to grow. Go ahead and hug the knees into the chest, squeeze, lift head, squeeze toes, face, fingers, nose, create tension, and release down to Shavasana. We'll just be here for a few breaths. Close your eyes, take a full deep breath in. Open your mouth side out. Pause, notice.